Hello and welcome to the latest edition of my Elite Dangerous Gaming Guide. My name is Hayden and I am going to today be talking to you about mining and how you can earn lots of money by extracting materials out of asteroids and out of rings of planets. So how do we start? Well, as with anything on Elite Dangerous, it starts with a ship. Mining can be done by any type of ship, but some are more suited to others, and the smaller your ship, the greater the difficulty you will have in doing any mining. For this particular episode, I'm using a Type 6 transporter, which costs about 1,000,000 credits, but does have quite a lot of room, although not quite as much room as I would like in order to properly equip out my ship. So let's have a look at the outfitting of the ship to see what equipment do you actually need in order to start. So here we have the ship, and first off we'll start with hard points. The one thing you will obviously need in order to be able to do any mining is a mining laser. You can't do it with pulse lasers, you can't do it with any of the other weapons in the game. You will need mining lasers, and I've equipped this ship with two. Basically this ship is not ever going to be one that's going to be in combat. If I get attacked, I'm basically, if I don't outrun the enemy, going to die quite quickly. But I've chosen two mining lasers. You don't have to have two, you can have one. It just slows down the process a little bit. Obviously get the best type of mining laser that you can, and given the fact that asteroids and chunks of rock that you're going to be shooting at are pretty stable, just get fixed. I don't think that they actually do gimbaled or turreted mining lasers anyway. The core internal components, there's nothing much that you actually need here. Probably the most useful things would be the power plant and the power distributor, but they're not really essential. Obviously a better frame shift drive will also allow you to travel further. The optional internal components is where we do really start to be seeing the particular equipment that we are going to need for mining. The first thing is obviously we're going to need cargo space. Lots of cargo space because we want to make our runs as economical as possible. I would suggest that you would need a fuel scoop, just simply so that you can get further to actually go and do the jumps that you actually want to do and get to the places where you want to be in order to mine those precious resources. You will need a refinery. So when we actually look at refineries, this is the type of information that you will want. I've gone for the best class of refinery that I could fit in. As you can see, it's 4.5 million credits. But this is the important element, the bin count. The bin is the number of different materials that it can process at any one time, so I can choose up to 10. If you have a bin that can only hold one or two counts, then you're not really, it's going to take you a very long time to start mining anything, and you will find that you will be venting a lot of findings into space and losing some of those materials. So I would recommend a 10 bin count if you can, or as best as you possibly can go otherwise. As you can see, a C class is 7, going down to an E class for a size 4 is 4 bins. So it's entirely up to you how many that you actually want, but obviously the lower the number, the worse you're actually going to get. That's just the way it is. So if you've got a 1E refinery, you're only going to be able to process one element at a time. So the refinery is the first thing. The next thing that you're going to need is actually going to be your limpets. Now these are controllers effectively, they're not the actual limpets themselves, but you purchase two different types of limpets. The first one is the prospector limpet, and what the prospector limpet does basically is you fire it at the asteroid that you're looking to mine, and then that will tell you what that asteroid is made up of, and it will tell you how many resources are left before it's depleted. This obviously stops you from mining an asteroid, emptying it, and then still continuing to mine. It does save time, and it is worth the money. The other thing that you will need is a collector limpet. Now a collector limpet will fly off and pick up all of the debris that comes off the asteroids that you mine, and then brings it back to your ship and puts it in your refinery. You can manually do that, so you can fly and use your fuel scoop and pick up each individual rock, but when you consider that how quickly rocks actually fall off the asteroids, I really would consider you doing something like having a prospector limpet, because otherwise your search is going to be tediously slow. So prospector limpets and controller limpets are the ones that you actually want to be looking for. You want two of those as well. Obviously a basic discovery scanner, so that you can actually scan planets when you arrive in an area, so that you can then identify what resources might be available where. You don't get the option to remove the planetary approach suite. What I've done on this ship is, because the makeup of the ship is not very conducive to mining still, I could get rid of some cargo space, but why would I do that when I want to actually sell my commodities? I've actually removed my shields from my ship. So it's a dangerous strategy to have, but what you've got to remember is I am way out at the furthest reaches of the universe here. There's not that many people around to shoot at me, but there are some. Next, what we need to do is we need to have a look at where we can mine. So here we are in the galaxy map, and what I'm looking at for now is a planetary system where the planets have rings around them, or there's lots of asteroid belts. So I'm going to go to a system which I discovered a little while ago, and as we can see here, I'm going to go into the system map, and here is the star. It's got an asteroid belt here. It's also got different planets involved as well. And as we look at these planets, we can see the ones that have rings around them. It tells us here what those rings are made out of. Now rings can be made out of ice, which are basically no value whatsoever. Asteroid belts such as these, or rocky rings, will contain mostly the lowest value minerals in the game. Then you will get metal rich rings such as this planet here, and this is a good starting point because it will have all but the highest value metals in these rings. Unfortunately, this planet's also only got metal rich, as has this one, or that one's ice, and that one is ice as well. But here this system has 3 rings around it, which we can see here. The innermost ring, ring A, so this one there, is metal rich. The middle ring is Rocky, not Balboa, but it is Rocky, and the third ring is ice. So the third ring around this planet is no use to me whatsoever. But the one that I want is this one here, and there's also a ring here. So I'm going to set a course to that planet, and then I'm going to launch, and let's see what happens when we get there. Before I set off to go on my voyage, what I must do is go to advanced maintenance, and I also need to go to restock in order to buy the control limpets to use on my ship. Basically what I look to do is try and fill up my cargo hold probably about half full of limpets, so I would have 32 on this trip. You do tend to lose limpets really quite quickly, because what happens is asteroids spin and then they will collide with the limpets. They're not very intelligent things. All they do is just track a piece of rock and come back and put it in your refinery, so you need quite a lot of them, plus firing them at different asteroids as well to do the prospecting. So when I've got half my cargo hold filled, then I'll just click on confirm, and that's it. I'm all ready then to go off and do some mining across the other side of the galaxy. So here we are on the approach to the planet with the ring system. It's got 3 rings around it, and I'm going to do some mining from here. What you will often find when you're approaching is there'll be areas that are marked extraction sites. Personally, I would avoid those. Normally there are a load of pirates and whatever floating around there, and they wait for you to do all the mining and refining, and then they blow you up. So best to try and avoid them if you can. The other thing that I will do is, if I do see a lot of people around, I will keep boosting away from the place that I entered the area, so that I can be well and away from the point of entry to that particular piece. It's very unlikely then that you will actually get followed by anybody at all. Normally you can pretty much lose them in all of the rocks. I do like the way that things look when you approach a ring like this, but what you've got to do is make sure that you go slow. I'm going a little bit too fast here, probably do some damage. Yep, 2% damage to my ship, but there we go. So now it's just a matter of, well, flying down, and let's identify some rocks that I can then start to do some extraction from. First off, get your weapon systems up and make sure that you've got your prospector limpet set. Don't forget that when you do add the limpets and you also add mining lasers, you will have to change your fire groups so that you know what you can fire and when. So shall we approach this rock? So the best thing is fire your limpet off as I've done there, and then target your prospector limpet, and as you can see in the bottom left hand corner, it tells me the type of materials, and it's a low content rock. Not quite close enough for my mining laser. There we go. So now I'm blasting off pieces of rock piece by piece. Send out my my collector limpet to pick that up, and then just keep firing away at the rock, and little bits will keep chipping off. You can see that the rock is depleting. I've forgotten to lower my cargo scoop there, so need to go into this panel and just lower the scoop. That allows the prospector, the collector limpet to put in stuff into the refinery. Just moving a little bit further away here because there are some ships in the area. They're off the radar, but let's just get a bit further clear. Don't need to go too far. So, lower the cargo scoop, fired the limpet, another low concentrated rock here. Let's do a bit of mining. Starting to chip things off, so I'll send a collector limpet out to collect those. Now I'm getting scanned, so I'm probably going to get attacked. As you can see, it is a very long process. I'm only 66% of the way through the materials on this particular asteroid. And nothing's going in the hoppers, strangely enough. So there we go, I've just had some resources processed, things starting to appear in now, yeah, it's starting to all flood in. And you can see the limpet flying around, collecting things and bringing them back. So I've refined some ore there. Let's have a look, see if there's any other better asteroids than this one. Limpet away. So we've got silver in here, which is really quite nice. Might be a good one to actually start mining. But this is the process, and it goes on for a very long time. It is a matter of rinsing and repeating, to be honest with you. It does take a long time, and you've got to constantly keep your eye out for anyone who is coming to attack you. If for whatever reason you fill up all of the bins on your refinery, you can vent them. Vent certain things, and it releases what you found into space, and that's fine because it frees up a bin. So maybe you're processing a lower value commodity, and then suddenly you find that you've got platinum or gold on the asteroid, which will pay more money. Then that's what you should do, especially if you think you are going to get a few tons out of it. Ooh, that looked like it hit then. It's a bit close. So let's fly back and let's have a look and see how much money after I've done all of this process I'll have made. I'm going to stay here for a little bit longer to actually do some mining, so I'll see you back at Jack's station. So I'm now back here at Jack's station, and I'll just quickly refuel and repair my ship, and then it's basically a matter of going to the commodities market and selling all of my commodities that I've managed to mine from the asteroids. I can have a look at the different prices, but obviously you're probably going to pick the market that's going to be the most cost effective, so you're going to get the maximum profit. I'm just going to sell mine to wherever. I'm not going to go and be changing any of them to different markets and trying to find the best price possible. So as you see, some products will only actually go for half the amount for the galactic average, other ones will be much higher. So let's try selling everything and seeing where we get. So that's everything that I've sold, and I've made about 70,181 credits profit in total. The last piece of cargo I have is the one limpet that I have left over. So that's how you do mining. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave your comments below. Also subscribe to the channel, and please feel free to share the video. You can follow me at HARDPoints on Twitter. You can also watch me on Twitch at twitch.tv HARDPoints. My blog, HARDPoints wordpress.com. You can also listen to me and the rest of the Craigie Gamer UK crew on our podcast, Craigie Gamers UK, which is available from iTunes and other podcasts. Thanks for listening. See you next episode. Bye.